Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It's 1815 Zulu on February 14th, 2023. It's time for Tuesdays with DX Engineering. And today we have a very special guest. It's Mike, KG2MM. Hello, Mike.
Hey, hello, Tim, everybody.
Great to have you on, Mike. You're down in Florida, right?
That's correct. I'm located down here in Jacksonville, Florida, which is in the northeast part of Florida.
Nice place to be in the wintertime and all the time, as a matter of fact. Mike, how did you get started in ham radio?
I got started back in the early 90s when I got introduced to CB radio, and that piqued my interest in radio in general. And as years went on, I was able to get my license and get on the air.
That's very cool. So you started out in Two-Land, though.
Yes.
So what is the connection to New York or New Jersey?
Well, I was born and raised in New York. Lived there all my life, and upon retirement from my civil servant job, I relocated to Florida. But I kept my call. I didn't want to represent New York, my home state, my hometown.
So that's really cool. It's a nice vanity call, Kilo Golf 2 Mike. And you have I looked at your QRZ page, Mike, and you're doing a lot of stuff with ham radio. And it seems like you really focused in on Parks on the Air. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, when I came into ham radio, and it was just sitting around the house making contacts, and then I got introduced to Parks on the Air from the ARRL's contest that they had when they had National Parks on the Air, and that's where the program derived from back from in 2017, and Jason Johnson, who's one of the founders of Parks on the Air, decided to make it an everyday adventure to get out in the field and have fun. So I embraced that technology and got my equipment together, and I go out, enjoy myself in nature, and have fun making contacts at the same time, and I really enjoy it. And I think that's what's keeping ham radio alive in some of the folks' mind. And a lot of people were saying ham radio is dying, but if you don't get out and and get on the air, of course, you might think that way. So I like to get on the air, make some CQ calls, and get those contacts in my log.
So let's talk about what equipment. Here's your home shack. Man, you've got a lot of equipment there, Mike.
Okay. Well, I run at the home shack. I run a IC 7300. I have a modest little amp here, which is a AL 811 with the tuner, and that's it. Nothing extra special. And the radio to the left there is a nice DMR Anytone 578 radio for local work, and that's it.
Yeah, boy, it's a nice looking shack. And then tell us about your antenna here.
Oh, okay. My antenna is from my good friend Callum, DX Commander, which is the DX Commander Classic antenna. I live in the HOA, so it's kind of hard to put antennas up. I can't have towers, but I used to run an end-fed half wave as my first antenna, and then I acquired the DX Commander Classic there, and I've been using that as my primary station antenna for about a year and a half now, and I love it.
So here are some photos of you in the Parks on the Air activations. Tell us about the equipment you're using there, Mike.
Okay, well, the equipment is the same, almost the same like in the shack. I run a second IC 7300 from ICOM, so I have two. One for the field use that I dedicated for field and portable use and ENCOM work, and I use that to run Parks on the Air. I also use a LifePo 4 battery, And the antenna I use is a Wolf River Coils antenna system for my portable work. Sometimes, depending on the weather, I might end up activating inside my vehicle and use the ham sticks. I use Shark ham sticks.
Okay, that's very cool. And here's some of your Parks on the Air logs. Well, you've been to a lot of parks, Mike.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to not as much as some of my other mentors that does POTA a lot. Shout out to Bill Brown and James up there, Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November, and Steve KO4 AFL, and the whole gang, Mike and K8MRD. They keep me going. They keep me motivated because I see these guys. They do way more work, way more parks than I do. And I'm just trying to keep up with them.
Well, it looks like you're doing a nice job, and you've got some awards here for Parks on the Air. And here, tell us about Pumpkin Hill.
Oh well, Pumpkin Hill was my first ever award that I got, major award, which was a kilo, which is making over 1,000 contacts at one park. And it was a challenge to myself, and I was able to achieve that. So that's my goal. Is every park I try to achieve as many contacts as I can.
Well, that looks good. And here's your antenna. And,
that's the Wolf River Coils. Yes.
Yeah, with some radials. How many radials do you have there, Mike?
I use 18 8-foot radios, if I'm not mistaken. I always forget the numbers I've had, and every time people ask me, I said, just go to my QRZ page because I have it written down there. I believe it's 18 8-foot radios. So in bundles of 6. So I have 6 radios, or one on each leg. So it gives me a total of 18 radios all around.
Yeah, boy, that's a good looking antenna. And how's that antenna work for you, Mike?
Oh, it works great. I've made contacts locally, coast to coast, DX. Most recently, we made contact into Africa, Europe. I get all the time. I got a lot of POTA guys in Europe. I talk to them. England, Hawaii, Alaska. Just generally all around the world, even Japan. I've made contact to Japan one day in the park.
Nice. And so tell us a little bit about some of these nets that you operate, Mike.
Well, I don't operate, but I frequent them a lot. A lot of nets some of the nets here are local. So if you're local to Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia, or Central Florida, you could just look on my list there on my QRZ page, and you could join. I am affiliated with a lot of Aries work for the North Florida Aries group. We do traffic reports and radiograms. I've frequented a lot of the old mist nets and other little nets here and there. And it's just to give you an idea of where you can find me at. You know, I'm very heavy on DMR as well. I have a lot of DMR equipment, and that's it.
Yeah, and you've got some videos here of you operating at Pumpkin Hill and doing some activations. You've been on Ham Nation, and of course, some more of your affiliations. And the Parks on the Air, every day is field day, right, Mike?
That is correct. Every day is field day, and I love it.
And that's very cool. And here you are.
Yes, that was me in my civil servant uniform there from New York City. I'm retired as a lieutenant, and I loved every minute of the job.
Well, thank you for your service, Mike. You look great in the uniform, and of course, you've got some additional stuff here. Your QRZ.com log. So really, a great way to spend your amateur radio time with Parks on the Air and giving guys activations. And what do you think about the future, Mike? What do you got cooking going on?
Trying to I'm trying to break some of my records. I don't really make plans, Tim. I just go out and have fun. That's the main thing, is just to have fun and just enjoy playing on the radio. You know, I don't have I set goals for myself here and there. I'm trying to extend my exceed my expectations, as I might say. But I don't have any real good anything real planned to do, but just have fun on the radio and build up the POTA community even more.
You know, that in itself is very good. I want to shout out a couple of comments in the chat room. Steve KO4 Alpha Fox Lima. It sure was nice to catch up at the campground, and it was great to meet Mike KG2MM there as well. Great guy. Glad he took the time to hang out for a bit. And let's see here. What else do we have that's let's see. Art says, worked Mike several times over amateur radio band. Great operator and great for the amateur community. So very nice there. Let's see. John says, hey, Tim and Mike. Mike, was great to meet you at the campground. From November Juliet 4 Zulu, and Miss Vicky, Alpha Delta 3 India, was thrilled to meet you. And so it looks like you had some fun at Hamcation. And Amy says, N8AMY says, nice to work the parks, Mike, and DE N8AMY. And Dino says, POTA has become an infectious activity in our club. So that's really good. And we've got one of our DX engineering team members on here, K8 Delta Victor, Dave. He says, hello, Tim and Mike. POTA has done a lot to bring activity back to the bands. Great job with it, Mike, and I'll look for you on the bands. And so great stuff. Mike, it's been so good to have you on today. I've been wanting to do this, and really glad that your schedule worked out for you to come on with us. And great comments in the chat room. And we wish you continued success with your 1,000 contacts per activation. That's a really good goal, Mike.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Tim, for letting me get on the platform here and show the people how POTA is, Parks on the Air. Get out there and have fun, people. All
right, Mike. We'll look for you on the air. And thanks for all you do for this great hobby. You know, it is the best hobby in the world. Until next time, 73 from DX Engineering.